Hey everybody, Ishmael Kolya, Isha Realtor, Associate Broker with eXp Realty and the leader of team of experts here at eXp Realty. Today's topic, we're going to talk about deciphering and decoding an online listing. When you're looking at a listing online on Zillow or Realtor.com or even on the MLS, are you confused by some of the terminology? Well, confused be no more. All right, let's go ahead and break it down. Here are a few things that you may run into and that may be of confusion to you. DOM, what does that mean? It means days on the market. How long has this property been on the market? And when it comes to the count of days on the market, only the days that the property is active are counted. So for example, if the property is active for 10 days, the days on the market count will say 10. However, if the property then goes temporarily off market because somebody was sick in the family and they were not showing the house, and the property was temporarily off market for 7 days, once it goes back in the market, it won't say 17, it will say 10 or 11 days, because those 7 days while the property was off market do not get counted. What about if the property goes into contract and is in contract for 30 days and then the deal dies, the buyer is unable to get a mortgage and the property comes back in the market? Do those 30 days count? No. So again, the only days that are counted in the days on the market count are the days when the property is actually actively available for sale in the MLS on the market. All of the other days are not counted. What does this all mean for you? If the property's in the market for too long, if you're a buyer and if you see that the property's in the market for 180 days, which is 6 months, 200 days, 300 days, 400 days, that could be an indication that there's some problem, right? There may be tenant issues, there may be some violations, maybe it's priced too much, right? So keep that in mind as a buyer. If you're a seller, you certainly don't want to be you certainly don't want to be in the market for too long. The longer your property stays in the market, the more the buyers are going to think that there's something wrong with the property. So you want to price it right. And by the way, the number one reason why a property will stay in the market for too long is because of price. If you're a seller, try and price it in a way so that it sells quickly. Just because you're going to sell quick doesn't mean you're going to sell for low. In fact, pricing it aggressively will actually get it sold for quickly and will sell for more. So that's a tip as a seller. As a buyer, days on the market, a high days on the market count generally could be an indicator of a problem. On the reverse side, if the days in the market count is very low, just 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, then you don't have a lot of time to waste. That property is like a hot cake in the market, and a lot of buyers are looking at the property. So you want to get out there and go take a look at the property right away. You don't want to wait until next week when you have a day off. Take some time off and go see the property. If you like the property, make an offer quickly. Make sure you make a reasonable and realistic offer. Don't try and lowball on your offer because this property is just 3 days, 4 days in the market. All right, so that's what DOM stands for, and that's what you should keep in mind. What about contingent or pending? For example, if you're looking at online websites such as Zillow, Realtor.com, you may see terminology such as sale pending. What that means is that the buyers and the sellers have all signed a contract and this property is no longer available to see, or they're no longer accepting an offer. This property is now in contract. It is no longer available to be shown or accepting an offer. There are other terms that you may see: sale pending, contingent, in escrow, and so forth. So just keep that in mind. However, it doesn't mean that the property will sell. Sometimes the contract, the deal does die, the contract does fall apart, and the deal, property may come back in the market, and at that point it will say actively for sale or for sale. But pending or sale pending simply means that the contract has been signed by both parties. Keep in mind that the property will not say pending until both parties have signed the contract. If you're a buyer and if you have signed the contract, let's say yesterday, And you're wondering, why does Zillow still say for sale? Why does it still say active? Why does it not say sale pending? The reason is it will not say sale pending until both parties have signed the contract. So keep that in mind, all right? So that's something to keep in mind in terms of pending and so forth. What about as is? That's a very common terminology that we see on a lot of listings lately. When you see a listing that is marketed as is, that could mean a number of things, right? As is, you have to clarify, or you have to ask the agent for more clarification. As is meaning condition, and if they say yes, as is condition, that means they're not going to do any repairs, they're not going to fix any issues that may be uncovered during either a walkthrough or during an inspection. Yes, you have the right to do the inspection, but it'll be for informational purposes only. They will not be fixing anything that's broken. For example, the tile is chipped or the window is cracked and so forth. They're not going to be fixing the problem. And that's what an as-is condition sale could mean. However, keep in mind that sometimes they may be talking about an as-is title as well, or other situations. So again, you want to clarify with your agent or with the listing agent. As-is condition, or rather as-is title, would mean that any problems on the title, they're not going to take care of them. For example, there might be violations, there might be severe fines from the city or the building department and so forth. There might be open permits. So again, you want to ask your agent, hey, as is meaning as is condition, which may not be as big of an issue. A broken window is not as big of a deal as certain violations on the property, a severe amount of fines on the property, and so forth, right? So as is title would mean that the house will be sold with the title as is, and they're not going to be correcting any legal problems with the house, such as open tickets, open violations, open permits, fines, and so forth. And then, of course, another thing that you want to clarify in terms of as is they could also mean as is in terms of delivery. For example, if it's occupied, then it's going to come with those tenants. Perhaps those tenants are paying the rent. Perhaps those tenants are not paying the rent. So again, there's a lot that goes into deciphering an MLS listing or an online real estate listing. And that's why you need a good real estate team in your corner to help you navigate this very challenging real estate buying process. That's where I come in and my team comes in. My name is Ishmael Kolya, Ish Your Realtor, the team of experts. I'm an associate broker with eXp Realty. I've got a team of agents, whether you're looking to buy in New York City or surrounding suburbs or New York State. We are ready to help you. And of course, at eXp Realty, we've got 90,000 agents ready to help you across the United States, 50 states, as well as in 24 countries. Please reach out to us. Our phone number is 914-540-8849. Again, 914-540-889. Ishmael Kolya, Ish Your Realtor. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to connecting with you on the next video. Please, if you have not subscribed already, subscribe and like this video as well so we can bring you more content. Thank you so much. Take care.